Hi guys, and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we're unboxing a watch from a brand called Fonderia Lab. They're an Italian-based brand that makes jewelry and watches, and they usually make vintage-inspired watches. They have a 70s inspired sports watch, and this is a 50s inspired dress watch. And I selected this model because I'm a fan of those designs, and I find those watches to be the most beautiful. So let's open the package and see what we got. So let's see what we even get. Do we have only the watch or the whole package? Oh look, there's even a bag. And it looks like it's the whole box. So let's remove this bubble wrapping. Throw it away. So this is a white cardboard box, and look at this. This is quite interesting. Let me just readjust the camera. Wow. Okay, this is the most original packaging I have seen so far. This is a tin box, and it's really metal. And you have this clasp here, and then it opens on these hinges. I really like this. Okay, here's the foam to protect the watch, and here is the watch itself. Now this model is called the Professor, but let's see what we get. Okay, you have a user manual. Okay, they have extra points for this packaging. This is really something original, something I've never seen in the watch world. But let's go back to the watch, and let me zoom in just a bit. As you can see, it's a very 50s looking watch. And I went for this silver dial, rose gold, markers and hands variant, because I find it to be the most attractive. There is a cool one that's a bit more modern with blued hands and blue markers. That one also looks pretty cool. Let's remove the protective sticker to see that dial even better. And yes, it's a very nicely executed dial with a sunburst effect. It has very long hands, and I like that the minute track is on the inner part, so all the hands are actually reaching way past them. Wow, I really do like the look of it. It looks like, well, the closest thing would be the Orient Bambino. As you can see, it's also slightly, it's not too thick, but it's not ultra thin either. Now as you can see, this is an automatic and it's powered by the Citizen 6T15 movement. The cool thing about this movement, I mean, it's an automatic, it comes with hand winding, but it doesn't have a hacking function. So if I pull the crown, the seconds hand continues to move. But the cool thing about it is that it beats at 28,800 BPH. Sadly, there's one bad thing about it, and that's the fact that it's a small and actually a ladies' watch movement, and it really looks disproportionate to the size of the case, which is why I'm wondering why they went with a with a transparent case back. In my opinion, they should have made a solid case back to hide the fact that the movement is so small while the watch is so big. Now as you can see, this watch is polished all over to give that 50s vibe, and overall I like the case lines. It's not as simple as it appears at first, because look at how the lugs go into the case. It's rather interesting. The crown is signed, and now when it comes to dimensions, like I said, this is a modern take on the 50s watch, so this is 40 millimeters. In my opinion, too big for this type of a watch. I prefer these watches in 35, 36, up to I believe 37 or 8. But for most modern people who like modern watches, 40 millimeters is gonna work. Another thing that makes it a bit more vintage is the crystal. They used an acrylic crystal, something that I'm not sure I really like. I mean, I like it on vintage watches, but I would at least want a mineral, or even better, a sapphire, because with acrylic crystals you're gonna get this thing scratched. Naturally, you can also buff it out, but you know, it's and it's gonna be a scratch magnet. Look how domed it is. But when it comes to the look of the 50s, this watch is pretty true to them, and I really like it. In this variant, it's paired with a handmade Italian leather strap, but there are also variants where they come on a mesh bracelet. Overall, I really like the look of this. I mean, the dial is just amazing, and the case shape is great. But if I were you, if it was me deciding on how to make this watch, I would use a solid case back. I would definitely make it smaller, but keep these proportions, because the proportions are pretty awesome. Now these retail, there's also a quartz version that comes with a small second subdial, and this is the automatic. The quartz version goes for about 99 euros, which is about $120, and this automatic version goes up to 219, from 209 to 219, which is about $250. Now this also has what they call a floating seconds hand, which is why, because it's such a small movement, which is why you can see the seconds hand sometimes jump when I'm setting it. And it's something that I don't like. Look, see, because it's actually driven, it's held in place by a little spring, that's why it jumps, but it always comes back to its original state. Anyways, let's put it on the wrist to see how it wears, which I believe, it's gonna be okay, like I said, for most people, but when it comes to these kind of watches, I really prefer them smaller. So let's strap it on. And here it is. Yes, for my wrist, definitely too big, because you lose that vintage vibe. Look at the size of it. It looks like a pilot's watch on my 6.7-inch wrist. If you have larger wrists, or if you like larger watches, you are gonna love it. But for me, this should be smaller. And it looks like even the dial is actually curved, which is something I really like. So like I said, the looks, yes. The size, not for me at least. But a very interesting looking watch. Anyways, stay tuned for the full review when I spend some time with the watch and those macro shots, because I believe this dial is gonna shine, literally, when I put it under macro. Look at the details. I really like it. I just hope the build quality and all the finish is on par with the design or the look. Very stunning. Anyways, that's it. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And until the next video, bye.